It's been a while since I recorded a video. I moved. I bought a house. I'm here in my new house. And so this is my new location for my recordings. It took me a while to get set up, and I'm still kind of doing this whole thing. I'm not going to waste your time with a bunch of details, but it takes time apparently to buy a house. You can't just do it in a weekend. So, in any case, I'm behind on the videos for the Dallas Card Show. And it's been so long since I published something. So what I did is I just went through a couple boxes of stuff I've acquired in the past 7-8 months. Some of the stuff comes from the shows. Some of the stuff comes from eBay. Some of the stuff was bought through sellers on Facebook. All over the place. And I couldn't remember when I bought what. So I was like, whatever. It's cards. What difference does it make? So the stuff we're going to be talking about today is just like a mix of stuff. So I'm going to make a video for the past 4 shows, and this is being one of them. And I try to keep up on these things the best I can as the shows happen. And there was a lot of activity in Dallas for shows. There were like several weekends in a row that was like a show. And there were a lot of them were hosted by the promoters of the Dallas Card Show. So this is just kind of going to be from some of that too. I don't unfortunately have the luxury of producing a video for every show I go to. I go to a lot of shows, so I'm just going to produce one for the Dallas Card Show's big show dates, and then that I'll cover some of the stuff that I got there and some of the stuff I got from other shows. So let's get into it here. This one is for the September 5 through 8 Dallas Card Show, and it's going to be organized by age of card, so old first into new. So let's just jump right into this. So the first one here is Gary Sheffield, 1991 Brewers Police. Yeah, I hadn't seen this one before. This was a new one for me. I think it was like in a quarter bin or whatever. I don't remember what it was in. It was from the most recent show, but I just put it in this one. I was like, whatever. I was like pulling cards and making piles for the 4 shows I want to cover. And this one was one that I was like, well, let's just do this one for the September show. And kind of a cool card, probably inexpensive. It's a few bucks on CMC if you can find it on eBay. It's not an expensive card, but it's also not a very common card. Like this is the first one I've seen. Yeah, so here's the thing with this one. It's part of a 30-card set issued regionally. Sponsors of the set include the Waukesha Police Department, Waukesha Sports Cards, and Delicious Brand Cookies and Crackers, as well as many municipalities. So it being a regional issue didn't have wide production, wide distribution, which makes it a somewhat rarer card to get. And no, I don't think Gary Sheffield will be in the Hall of Fame ever, but he was a very good hitter. And I've filed his cards ever since I was a young little kid. And so when I saw this, I was like, "Oh, cool!" And I think the guy, I don't remember, but there was a show sometime back where the seller had a bunch of obscure, like runs of cards from these kinds of sets, and I looked for the stars and pulled out whatever I could in the stars, and there wasn't really much. I think like a Juan Guzman or something. I don't remember, but I don't think we'll be showcasing those because I'm so behind on chronicling and archiving that I have stacks of boxes of collections I've acquired over the past 8 months. And so I've got a lot of work ahead of me, but I'll get to it. It's just that particular card's buried in there somewhere. And so I'll eventually get around to it and doing that thing. Sometimes people ask me to show them how I organize my cards. All you have to do is think about a bunch of white boxes, 3,200 count, organized by player's last name and divided with dividers. And then that's how I do it. And I do it across a whole bunch of boxes. So collection grows quite a bit every year, but I have space, so I'm not worried about it. But that's in another conversation. So, and anyway, this is cool. This is the Gary Sheffield 1991 Brewers Police regional issue. All right, moving on here. So this next one is Aaron Seeley, 1994 Flair promo. Now, I hadn't seen the promo from this set, and I learned this is the only promo they made for 94 Flair, and it was made specifically to distribute to dealers to promote the set. That's all it was. And this was the only one. And Aaron Seeley was a big prospect back in this era, so it makes sense that they would have used his card. I remember he was quite popular back then. Of course, Red Sox, Yankees, big market teams are going to have deeper pockets. They can do this. They can like field offers to young stud prospects. I don't really know what happened with his career. I just remember hearing about him around this time, and he had like up arrows in Beckett magazines, so he was kind of one to watch. But kind of cool. Really kind of a, very small promotional sample print on this card. As Flair became sort of more matured in like 97 and the legacies and all that stuff, their promos, there were somewhat more invasive printing. Looked, I think, better actually than this one. Looks like something the high school yearbook committee would put together, but I like it. It's cool. This was the first one I'd seen. I don't see this stuff often. Obviously, this being the first one, I never see it, so I don't imagine they made too many of these. I mean, enough to shuffle around, and of course it's 94. It's like the first year out of the junk wax era, and so 94 is the first year where things became significantly more short printed. Granted, the short printing thing really started in 1990 with the Reggie Jackson autographs, but as we went through the 90s, things just got harder and harder to find. So kind of a cool thing here. This is the Aaron Seeley 1994 Flair promo. All right, next on the list here, this is cool, kind of moving it forward 8 years. This is Chone Figgins 2002 Bowman Chrome Gold Refractor to 50. This is the rookie card. I don't buy a lot of Chone Figgins stuff. I just remember him playing for the Angels when I was kind of getting into the Angels back in like 2010. In 2010, I talk about this a lot in my videos. It's just it was a very pivotal year for me in cards and collecting. That's when I started Radicards, and so it's an important one for me. But this is kind of a cool card. I do like the gold refractors from those early Bowman Chrome releases from the 2000 block. And I just realized as the 2000s kind of carried, some of the golds, they had higher print runs, and then some of them were 50. And so it's kind of fun that you certain years will have different print runs. But this particular one being to 50, it's significant. Kind of a cool thing. And I have another Chone Figgins card numbered to 25, or I don't remember, 100. I don't remember what it is, but I picked it up a few years ago. I was like, well, I should probably get something else of his that's a little bit more significant. This being, I think, the more significant rookie card of his. He probably has like rookie auto, whatever. I don't do that sort of thing, but I'm sure he's got some of that stuff in the background. Kind of a cool thing. I like the sets. This 2002 Bowman Chrome is full of amazing rookies. You've got Zach Greinke, Joe Mauer. I think Joey Votto is in there as well. Just a lot of amazing rookies in 2002 Bowman Chrome. And they're very expensive. There's an argument that can be made for Joey Votto making the Hall of Fame, and hopefully he does. I mean, it's the people who think he does, they have a strong argument for him making it. And the people who don't have an argument for him not making it. But honestly, I'm more leaning on that he has a chance of getting in. That's just more me. What's funny is that I collect baseball cards. I've been collecting baseball cards since I was 5 years old. I mean, it took a little few year window block stint break, like late high school, early college, because, girls and dating and skateboarding and whatever else I was doing at the time. And it's not cool to collect baseball cards. And as you get older, you realize it's okay to be yourself. And I accept myself for who I am. I don't really, I embrace it. And, that's just something we should do as humans, is embrace what we like and whatever. This is cool. So this is the Chone Figgins 2002 Bowman Chrome Gold Refractor to 50. Very awesome card. I love the shine on this. It's really nice. I'm still getting I'm still moving into some parts of my house, and I have this other table and some better lighting and whatever, but I just kind of threw something together quickly so I can get some videos out. I think this image came out fine. It's not my best work, but it'll do, I think, for now. In any case, let's move on. Next on the list here, we're moving forward 10 more years. This puts us in 2012 at the Willen Rosario 2012 Topps Black to 61. So this guy, I think he came out of Dominican Republic, and he was one of the big prospects for the Colorado Rockies in 2012. Actually, he has cards dating back to like, I think 08, 09, 10, right in that block. So pre-MLB debut. And so you can find older stuff prior to this card. Of course, it's like how it always is, right? I think Bregman's stuff is in 2010, but he didn't make his rookie debut until 2017. You know, Mark Trumbo, 2004, rookie debut in 2011. So there's like 7-year windows for a lot of these guys. Obviously, Rosario, it's like 4 or 5 years instead of, you know, that long amount of time. He played until like the mid-teens, and then he just dropped off, and that was a career. It just didn't last very long. I mean, being a catcher is not easy, and you know, I look at guys like Hank Conger, short-lived career, and some others that just the body just is, it's hard. It's hard on the knees. I always think that the catcher has got to be the hardest job in baseball. To be crouching on your knees like that, I just can't even imagine. Oh, it just seems horrible. That and the pitcher, I think. The catcher and the pitcher are the two hardest positions in baseball. The one guy's like, no, that's center field. You just stand out there. It's boring. That's probably true. In fact, you know, I played baseball when I was younger, and I was in outfield, and I was so bored. Like, I don't want to do this. But I mean, maybe shortstop would probably be a pretty fun position. I think if I played baseball, I'd probably want to be shortstop. Maybe first base. That one's probably pretty interesting too. But you know, I'm not gonna. Nobody's gonna hire me to be professional baseball at my age, but and that opportunity has come to pass. So there won't be any catching opportunities or pitching opportunities in professional baseball for me anytime soon. But I just respect anyone's ability to catch or pitch, or really any amount of time being a professional baseball player. It's extremely competitive. It's hard. And so I'm pretty impressed when people can do it. And so Willen Rosario, although his career was short, you know, I'm pretty impressed he was able to make it even some amount of time in pro sports. You know, he probably made his money, enough money to survive and have a life, so good for him. But he reminds me of the 2010 Bowman Chrome set, so I kind of paid attention to his stuff a little bit. There's not a lot of stuff of his. There's some. When I say there's not a lot, that's relative, right? There's thousands of cards of his, but the stuff I want to buy, it's a small amount of cards, and this just kind of fits because it's, you know, it's a rookie year card, not technically a rookie card that you know, that's like late 2000s era stuff, but this being his rookie year, being he's made his MLB debut, so it's got the RC logo on it. That distinction is confusing for a lot of people, and I understand it's justifiably so because of the depends on how people define the rookie card thing, but you know, I whatever. Willen Rosario takes me back to a different time in my life, and I think this is just good reminisce for me. So that's cool. This is the Willen Rosario 2012 Topps Black to 61. All right, next on the list here, I found this in, I think it was like a dollar bin or something. I mean, I don't know who Danny Salazar is for the Cleveland Indians back when they still had their awesome logo and great name. They were the second team to integrate, by the way. And the reason why I got this is because this is the Sparkle parallel. There's a sparkle here. I've actually used a Sharpie to circle around on the penny sleeve around his left shin where you'll see the sparkle. Pretty subtle stuff. I don't buy wax, so I don't open this stuff, so I don't pick up on this. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I think it was like $1, $2. I don't remember what it was. I got it in a stack with a bunch of other cards from the seller, so I could have gotten it for cheaper than the asking price, and you know, that's not nothing. I appreciate that. So this goes into my Indians section. I don't predict I'll be getting any more Danny Salazar cards. At least I don't think I will, but this is one. He's got a great beard, by the way. Look at that perfectly cut beard. Really nice, like chiseled. He's an artist. Danny Salazar is an artist. And he plays baseball sometimes. It just happens to also play baseball, but he's actually just an artist. You know, he does the shaving. So, good dude. I think that Kendra Morales also has awesome beard work. Very good, clean lines. I always thought that about Kendra Morales. Kendris Morales. In any case, this is the Danny Salazar 2015 Topps Sparkle Parallel. Cool stuff. Oh, these are hard to pull. Actually, I want to mention that random in Series 1 and Series 2 are 1 in 331 packs to get the sparkle parallels. All right, moving on. Next on the list here, we have a... Now, okay, here's the thing with this card. There are certain databases online that don't get updated very frequently that tell us what is what. And I just made up this title for this card because whatever. I mean, I'll just call it what I want to call it. So this is Mookie Betts 2023 Leaf Vivid Orange Cracked Ice to 8. That's a fine title for this. Orange Cracked Ice. Whatever. Probably some people call it Atomic Refractor. I probably wouldn't call it that. I think Cracked Ice is fine. So this is cool. I got this, I think it was like $8, and I think I talked the guy down to $6, I think, for it. Got this for a really good deal. This was at one of the smaller shows. Kind of around, I think it was in the fall. I think it was like October, maybe. I don't remember. Cool venue. I think this was one of the ones that Frisco Card Show put on. This was like a Frisco Card Show card pickup. And the guy who runs that one, he does a great job. It's really grown quite something. It's quite awesome what he's doing. But those are great shows too. If you have a chance to make it over to those are also awesome. So yeah, these are cool. The Vivid set is quite beautiful, but man, it is ambitious. My gosh, there's so many parallels to this stuff. Leaf does that though. I've noticed it was like parallel, like just obliteration of parallels. I'm doing the, or actually 20. I think it was 24. Oh gosh, what was it? There's a Leaf set that I started cherry picking. Leaf Metal, that's what it was for Thomas. And I think I'm like over 20 different parallels now at where I am, and it's exhausting. Yeah, they do like, there's like a cracked ice background thing, and then there's like a refractor background, and they have like print runs that are similar. There's like print run 3, print run 4, print run 4, print run 5, or something like that. But it's exhausting. They're nice looking cards though. I mean, these Leaf Vivids are beautiful cards. I like them. I like even the new ones like this year. But that's a lot to chase. It is. And, you know, they're admittedly pretty affordable. Now, fast forward 20 years, are people going to be trying to buy these like they're buying the PMGs now? I don't know. That would be kind of interesting to think about. You might be kicking yourself, oh, why didn't I buy that card for $200? Now it's worth $2,000. That's going to be me in 20 years. I'm like, okay, fine. Maybe not. I don't know. Who knows what happens? But that's the story. That's what happens, right? It's like, had I bought that card back then, when I thought it was expensive then, now I could have sold it for, you know, so much amount of money or whatever. But no, I'll probably just keep the Mookie Betts. I like Mookie Betts. He's great. I think if Betts stopped playing now, there's a case that could be made for Hall of Fame for him. He's that good, I think. And so I pick up his stuff sometimes. He's a great player. But yeah, this is the Mookie Betts 2023 Leaf Vivid Orange Cracked Ice to 8. Now, again, that's my own title. All right, let's move on. Okay, Joe Carter. I like Joe Carter. I'm a Joe Carter fan. I have been for many years. Good dude. I've never met him, of course. I say he's a good dude. For all I know, he's not a good dude. But I think he's a good baseball player, so at least there's that. He's got something going for him. I have fond memories of trading cards for Joe Carter stuff when I was a younger dude. A mini version. 13, 14, 15. That era of my life is when I was trading with neighborhood kids for Joe Carter cards or whatever. We'd like look at each other's binders and we'd trade, and it's a very fun time. Yeah. So anyway, this is Joe Carter 2023 Panini Chronicles Crusade Red Wave to 199. I like this card. I think this was in a quarter bin. I don't think it was more than a quarter bin. If it was, maybe a dollar bin, maybe. And I think this was a big show purchase, but I don't remember. There's been so many shows over the past 8 months that whatever. I got this at one of the shows. It was not on eBay or anything. This was just one of the show cards. So I thought it was cool. I don't add Joe Carter stuff that frequently because I just don't see it that frequently. I think it's because his stuff doesn't sell that well. I mean, there's no Hall of Fame chance for Joe Carter. Obviously, he had the walk-off home run with the Blue Jays back in '93, but still, it's like, is that enough to get a guy in the Hall of Fame? I don't think so. That's kind of why I'm like kind of on the fence with Jack Morris getting in, because he's known for like one game. But I mean, he's dominant for a while, so it's not without merit. But I'll always be a fan of Joe Carter, regardless of the Hall of Fame thing. I just think he was a good hitter, And I filed his cards in binders when I was a kid, and he has a section in my boxes, and so this will go in there. I don't know when. It could be, hopefully not too long. Probably in the summertime is when I'll, start working on sleeving and chronicling and what. It's going to take weeks. I mean, we are talking probably 30,000 cards, I would say, that I've acquired from buying collections and stuff over the last 8 months. I think about 30K. So probably like, what 3, 5, 5. I would say somewhere between 20 and 30, probably closer to 20 if I were to ballpark it. Long story short here is I have a lot of buildup over the last 8 weeks because my fall was incredibly aggressive. And that was the biggest priority. So I just put everything off. I was like, well, handle it when fall is done. And then during the winter break, I was moving into my house. So that took up that time. I gave myself 2 weeks of a break. I needed a break. And then I started moving, and the rest of the 3 weeks were just moving. And so my winter break was that. And then spring started, and my career is most important thing. So I focus on that. So when I come home, I'm working on business stuff for my company, shipping orders or whatever. And so I'd like to put some more time in to do some more of these videos because I'm kind of behind on the video thing, and I really enjoy it. One of the guys from USA Cards, I see him at shows. He's always asking me like when I'm going to post something new, and so I appreciate him inspiring me to get back to it. I didn't need any inspiration, but I appreciate him making those comments because it tells me people are listening and people are watching and they appreciate, and that's always nice. He's a really good dude. I was shopping with him at this last show, and we went in on a deal together. Like, we bought 3 cards. I bought 2. He bought 1. And so we went in on all 3 with the seller to try to get a better deal. And the seller worked with us because he knew. And so he's a nice guy. I hope I see him at another show. He's a cool dude. All right, Joe Carter, 2023 Panini Chronicles Crusade Red Wave. I don't know if Chronicles is a high end or a mid tier. I don't even know anything about it. I know some people talk about some of the Panini products that are like they're lower value, but this card looks great. I mean, look at this. It's nice and like sparkly. Sparkles. Those are sparkles, by the way. That's how I animate sparkles, is like this with my hands. So this is cool. This is a fun card. I like to have some Joe Carter stuff every now and then. New ads. My Carter collection is not a lot. Like my McGuire collection is like almost a full 3,200 count box just for McGuire. And he's just one of the guys I like to buy when I'm out. Carter, I think his section is like a few inches. Like 6 to 8 inches, I would say, if I were to say like the amount of Joe Carter cards I have, 6 to 8 inches in a 3,200 count box. But some of those, like my Ripken collection's huge, at least in relative to the other collections in my collection. I don't PC anybody else like I PC Frank Thomas. Like that's a separate project, gigantic, huge project on itself by itself. It's a separate thing. It's treated completely differently. But my players I casually collect, they're in boxes, and Carter's in there. Bagwell, right? Tony Gwynn, Maddox, Ryan, Boggs, Sandberg, Puckett, Clemens, Canseco, Henderson. I mean, all the guys in the 80s and 90s I always grew up collecting. Those are the guys that are in these boxes, and so I always appreciate finding their cards on certain bargains or whatever. All right, moving on. This is cool. This is a Nolan Arenado 2023 Topps Golden Mirror Image Variations. I really don't know why they chose that title for this. There's nothing golden or mirror about this card. There's just an image variation. It's an SSP on the back in silver. I saw this at it's one of the Frisco shows, and the guy had such a great deal on it. I mean, it's so good. I was like, I'm an Arenado fan. I started collecting his stuff a few years ago with a couple other guys that I just think are solid Hall of Fame guys. And I feel like, again, like Betts, like Arenado, if he retired now and never logged another game, you can make a case Hall of Fame. Like Trout is the same way. Kershaw, same way. Greinke, same way. Scherzer, same way. Cabrera, Molina. I mean, some of these guys are so good. They had such great careers. I'm like, instant Hall of Fames, in my opinion. Arenado is, I think he's just, if you look at his stats, it's like, dude, forget it. Paul Goldschmidt, oh my gosh. Can't touch these guys. They're just they've proven themselves as these like incredible stock players. I usually give guys like several years before I start collecting them. I mean, I pick up a few Manny Machados now a little bit, and I pick up some Acuna Juniors, some of these modern guys, because I figured why not? I may as well get used to them, and so I'm picking up some of these guys more now. I've been sort of cherry picking some DeGrom stuff. I feel like there's, if he can stay healthy for a few more years, there may be a case to be made for him. He's a great pitcher. I mean, I grew up on guys like, Maddox, Nolan Ryan. Oh, Kerry Wood was great for a number of years until Dusty Baker got a hold of him, and then it was the end of it. It's like Dusty Baker, every time he manages, he ruins the pitchers. He just pitches them into the ground. It happened with Mark Pryor. Happened with Steven Strasburg. I knew when the Nationals hired Dusty Baker to be their manager, I was like, that's the end of Strasburg's career. Like, they're just going to ruin him. And I was so sad because I always thought Strasburg was one of the most dominant pitchers ever. Just so good, but he just was always injured all the time. It was really disappointing, but he was a great pitcher. In any case, this is Nolan Arenado 2023 Topps Golden Mirror Image Variations. SSP. Cool stuff. All right, last on the list here is the Bryce Harper 2024 Topps Home Field Advantage. Yeah, so these are hard to pull. Very, very hard to pull cards, but they're affordable. Like, you can get this particular card, I think I paid like $20. I got this one on eBay, and I saw this one at one of the Frisco shows, and the guy wouldn't budge below $20, and that was a fair price, by the way. It's fine. At the time, there were a few sales that were sub 20, but the guy was firm at 20, and honestly, that's a fair price for this card, and I'm willing to pay like standard deviation above where they're landing. Like, if the comp is 15, but guy's asking 20, whatever. It just so happens that at that time, I didn't buy this card at that show. So when I went home, I looked for one on eBay, and then eventually, like, I think a couple weeks later, bought one. And he's in a few of these sets, these home field advantage sets, which are awesome. They're really awesome. Some players bring really strong figures. Adrian Beltre, and some of the retired people, those athletes, they sell really well, like $300, like big figures. Frank Thomas is anywhere from like 60 to 80, depending on the seller. And that's another great one to have. But they're a few years in now of these home field advantage cards. I think they're great. They're cool. They're basic, standard, hollow foil, just standard cards, and I appreciate that. I've seen so many relic cards. I'm relic carded out. I mean, I honestly, I'm burned out on it. I have bought a lot of Thomas relic cards over the years, and I've even cherry picked a few non-Thomas relic stuff, but for the most part, I don't look at that stuff. When there's like boxes at shows of all relic cards, I just skip it. I don't even go through it. And maybe there are Thomas cards in there I need, fine, but if they're in those bins, unless they're organized by team, I probably won't go through them. I can't say for sure that I wouldn't, but I probably wouldn't, because the amount of stuff I have to go through to find stuff I actually want from Thomas, let's say, it's hard. It's just hard. So seeing a change in pace with Topps issuing stuff like this instead of the same, relic stuff, which is still produced, but that's fine. I mean, they're technically hits, but whatever. It's just, I'd prefer to pull this over something with a chunk of laundry inside the card, because I buy cards for cards, not for what's in them. I've always been like that. But I mean, I just think that the home field advantage stuff is really neat. It's just, they're cool looking cards. And I'm a Harper fan. I think Bryce Harper is one of those guys that, like, he's on a Hall of Fame path. He's having a Hall of Fame career, and so I pick up his stuff when I find it at for the right price, and I think he's doing an awesome job in baseball, and I hope he continues. So there you have it. That's my run of cards for the September 5 through 8, 2024 Dallas Card Show. Now, again, as mentioned, these are just a random run of cards I got, but I just wanted to put them in to showcase something for this particular installment of the Dallas Card Show, since I'm kind of behind. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning into Radicards TV on Radicards.com. I'm your host, Patrick Reno, and until next time, enjoy collecting. If you like this content, please subscribe. Thanks. Enjoy collecting.